We've all heard at some point or another of iconic legends like James Dean or Elvis Presley, who left us way too young. As the old saying goes, too fast to live, too young to die. Well, this movie gets it fast, and only a director like Baz Luhrmann can take this material and make it into something as energetic and kinetic as it deserves to be.
It was a masterpiece. I mean, I'm gonna give it 5 reels for sure. What?
Now, before we get into our review of Elvis, guys, I just want to remind you to please hit that subscribe button if you like our content, and hit the bell button so that you'll know every time we upload a video. And of course, check us out on social media, guys. We're on TikTok and Facebook at Real Screeners, Instagram, Real.Screeners.
Excellent. Yes, let's delve right into Elvis.
Let's dive.
Baz Luhrmann. Of course,
let's do it.
Of course, Mr. Luhrmann has brought us Romeo and Juliet, Moulin Rouge, The Great Gatsby. He has a very distinct style, completely recognizable immediately. You get that same frenetic pacing, fast-paced editing, but so brilliantly done. I'm sorry I'm already getting into this, but like it's just so exciting. What are your thoughts on Elvis?
Yeah, no, like you started saying, it's highly artistic, guys. I mean, this is not just your average Elvis or celebrity biopic, and it's apparent from the start. You know, like you said, the editing, the pacing, the split screen kind of panels to kind of mirror comic books.
Yep.
You know, stuff like that.
The cross-cutting. Since we're talking about techniques, we might as well.
Sure, might as well, right?
Yeah. The cross-cutting,
so it's what makes it distinct,
between his songs and the meaning behind his songs, and how they juxtapose his singing with the roots of where they came from.
Right. Very
gospel,
soulful, the
rhythm
blues.
and blues, right? The African American culture, and also the civil rights movement, and how his songs are very much a reaction to what's happening in history. Luhrmann got that down. It is fast, guys. I mean, this movie is relentless. It's relentlessly fast.
I had to take a break. Not only did it kind of exhaust you a little bit? It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. It does feel its length. It's a good movie, but it does feel kind of long. But besides that, guys, it's a really good movie. It takes you from his first performance in the Louisiana Hayride and his effect on the audience, which we'll get into just a little bit later. And then it takes you through his tumultuous life, and it's very well done. We talked about the editing. The direction is awesome. The acting is superb all around, and we'll get to that later.
The movie doesn't shy away from exploring the sexual rawness that was Elvis, that he exuded. Yeah. Let's just get right down to what makes this movie so great. I mean, the essential ingredient in my eyes is...
It's so many things.
Well, it's Austin Butler, man.
Yeah,
I mean, what a revelation as an actor. So I immediately started making comparisons to Rami Malek, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's hard not to, right? Because they're both portraying someone who's iconic in the music industry, right?
And so did a smash up job.
I mean, when portraying someone as iconic as Elvis Presley, you're worried, right? I mean, who is going to do this job, right? And he has nothing to worry about. Mr. Butler is so good in this movie. I predict that he will receive award nominations for this role. I even predict that the movie itself might get nominations. I can't praise Butler enough for this performance.
Yeah, you know, one thing you guys will notice in watching this movie is that he does not overdo the Elvis accent.
Oh, no.
He doesn't underdo it. It is a nice, easy medium that comes across very seamlessly, very convincing. And in looking at some of the interviews, you know, he really immersed himself in this character as well you should,
Absolutely.
Right? You know, he read a lot of books. He met the family, of course. You know, he spent some time at Graceland by himself. You know, so he wanted to do this justice, obviously. You know, this guy.
And he comes from a musical background, right? So he's amazingly, he actually sang a multitude of the songs, especially the earlier songs in the film were all sung by this actor. And later, interestingly enough, they kind of melded or combined his voice with Elvis's voice for the later performances.
Yeah.
Which are absolutely amazing.
Right,
you
right.
know, the ones at the International in Las Vegas
yes.
are an amazing standout.
You know, I have to say my favorite scene in this movie was when he made his debut during the Louisiana Hayride.
Yeah.
Because it shows how the crowd reacts to their first taste of Elvis the Pelvis. Yeah. And it's so funny because you have these girls, no matter whether they're teenagers in their 20s or even like in their 30s and 40s, just losing control of themselves, and it's a gradual, kind of excitement.
Really do.
There's a
great
woman,
job of showing you.
There's a woman who's like watching, and suddenly like this scream just explodes out
like
of her.
Yelp. It's like an uncontrollable.
She's like this. She's like. He's like, oh my God, did that come out of me?
Yes.
It is hilarious. And the way it's edited is so funny. I was laughing so much.
Yeah. I mean, he gets all of the movements and the gestures and everything just perfectly.
He does Elvis better than Elvis.
Yeah, probably.
But let's not also forget that Tom Hanks was in this movie, and he captures Colonel Tom Parker very well as a man. His promoter, yes, who was very determined to make money, repay his debts. He's all about the money, no matter what it does to Elvis. And one thing I couldn't stand was his accent. I thought it was very weird. I mean, that's all I have to say about it. I mean, what did you think?
Interesting.
You threw me off.
No, you know what, man? That's a very interesting point that you're making, because I was conflicted about his take on this character throughout the movie. But in my mind, I was like, he's portraying a weasel. He's portraying a weasel and how a weasel talks like in a comic book almost.
Okay, like it's exaggerated, right?
Exaggerating a little bit. So yeah, Hanks playing Colonel Tom, he of course narrates the movie, right? So very much the movie focuses on his relationship with Elvis's, right? Yeah. But you also get some exposure to Priscilla Presley, Lisa Marie Presley, his parents, of course, and
so some of the black singers from the time.
The black singers from the time, of course. The only thing which will bring down my rating a tad bit is that, God, I really wish the movie would slow down a bit sometimes. It just was like here, there, like going way too fast.
Right. We keep going back to the editing, guys, but it really does. The editing and the style really mirrored how conflicted he was and what he was going through in his lifetime, And the music, too, by the way, the soundtrack, which is a combination of old music and meshed with like new kind of renditions of it, it really flows you from scene to scene. And it's very pulsating. It's very upbeat, guys. You'll really like this movie.
We like to say that it crescendos, right?
Sure,
it absolutely does crescendo. So anyway, let's get into our real ratings.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. So I will go first.
Okay.
I didn't anticipate the emotional reaction that I had to this movie.
Did you scream in the theater too? Did I miss that?
No, I didn't scream. I was very engaged throughout the entire film. But the movie does pack, for me at least, an emotional punch towards the end when it delves into him being torn between him finding validation and just love from his family versus his fans, and that was a big kind of theme in the movie, where we find love and what fulfills us in life. Again, I feel like I've justified this rating, but I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 real ratings.
I'm going to agree. 4.5 reels out of 5, guys. We talked about so many different things, the cinematography, we didn't mention that. It draws you into every scene. But, what I liked about this movie, too, is they do bring in some historical events, and they do have some racial commentary, but they don't bop you over the head with it all the time, so it doesn't become about that. Baz Luhrmann, he takes liberties with his movies, right? I wonder how much of this is historically accurate, but it doesn't matter because it's an entertaining movie, and you know what you're getting into when you go to one of his movies. So I was thoroughly entertained. Yes, I had to take a break. It felt over long for me. One other thing too, by the way, is in the third act, being in such a long movie, I kind of felt like it was getting a little repetitive. Like, he gives a concert, then it slows down and he's conflicted. He gives a concert and a performance, then he's conflicted. Gives another concert, and then he's complaining about something. So I guess just because it was drawn out,
it's hard to make a biopic about a singer, right? Because, well,
you want to get all those songs in there.
You want to get all those songs out.
Going back to the things that kind of made this movie long for me, I guess that's why it's only a 4.5. But guys, we highly recommend this movie.
Worth it.
And go to the theaters to watch it, guys. And if you can, the Alamo Drafthouse is the best place to watch a movie, guys, for sure.
Absolutely. And once again, we want to remind you guys to leave a wonderful comment down below. Let us know what you think about this biopic. And also, don't forget to look us up on social media. We're on TikTok and Facebook at Real Screeners, Instagram, real.screeners.
Make sure you guys subscribe. As always, guys, we put a lot of work into this. We would love for you guys to subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, hit that like button. It definitely helps. And of course, guys, don't forget, go to our website at realscreeners.com, where we have a plethora of movie movie mashup designs. We're both wearing them, as you can see here. We came up with all these designs ourselves. We sourced them out to really good artists, guys. Definitely, you won't find these anywhere else.
Movies,
grab them.
You will love these designs.
Yes. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and hey, check us out for our next Real Take on Movies. Now, before we get into our review of Elvis by Baz
Luhrmann. Presley, you get some shit.
Give your favorite Elvis impersonation.
Don't make me do it. The pelvic thrust, of course.
The pelvic thrust. Oh, wow. Get up and let's zoom and let's get your pelvis, bro.
Yes, and let's do it. We've all heard of iconic
hip sways, pelvic thrusts.
And this.
You should definitely watch this movie, folks.
Watch it.
It is definitely an A.
Oh, yes.
You won't regret it.
Oh,